What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that team, reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers since 2020. And as always, I'd like to say thank you for watching live or on the replay, or listening live on the replay. And here in Toronto this afternoon, we're broadcasting late afternoon, March 22nd. Gotten cooler, but during the week, let me tell you, family, for the Fahrenheit people, we had one day there was like 70 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny and as my dad would say, beautiful outside. It was so nice, but we're in, I think, the second full day of spring, and the temperatures have dipped. We're supposed to see in a day or two getting like an inch of snow, a little bit, but I can tolerate that. February was a long, long month. Let me tell you, a long, long month. February's gone. March is here. April's around the corner. We're looking forward to it. Now, Saturday afternoons, 5 p.m., it's called Primetime Saturday. And Primetime Saturday is powered by Aisha K. Staggers, Laura LaLa Key. They're in the house. What is up, ladies?
You know what?
Well,
you said Celsius, so you guys do Celsius, and I forgot, because you know what? The temperature in my car is Celsius, because my car came from where did my car come from? My car came from Montreal or Quebec.
Quebec is a province. Montreal is the city in Quebec.
Well, I can't remember what he said, because I'm not sure if it was Montreal or it was just in Quebec. But he told me it was there, that area of Canada.
Okay, that area. That area there. I like that. That area. Area.
So I'm like, when all I know is that when I need it to be cool and I need the AC on, I have to be at 18 Celsius. I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit. And then when I need it to be warm, I need it at 32 degrees Celsius. I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit.
Okay, well, 32 degrees Celsius is over 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So you're looking about 91 degrees Fahrenheit. When it's like
that's like when it's like, I do that like when it's like 10 degrees out here.
Right. And then what was the other 18. Extremity? 18 is about 65, 64 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, and I do that when I need AC.
All right. LaLa Key, what is going on with the dreadlock today?
It is crazy in Portugal. We are in the rainy season and the waves are undescribable. The weather is crazy. We have been plummeted with rain and winds that are historic. Many of the cities in southern Portugal are under lots of trees that have blown over. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Wow, good stuff. Well, in the house already, number one fan of Primetime, Jen Myers, says hello, everyone.
Hey, Jen.
Frequency Event Promotion says greetings and salutations. Hello, Dr. Vibe. He says also hello, Aisha and LaLa. What went on this week, ladies? Anything outside of the political realm, because you do have a life other than politics. Yes, we do. You do, LaLa. You do. What else has been going on?
LaLa turned me on to seaweed as a snack.
Oh, wow.
Look, I bought a whole bunch of it, like the seaweed snacks and stuff. It's baked seaweed. It's so good. I bought a whole bunch of it, and it's like I've
never tried.
It's like having the lightest, crispiest potato chip.
Oh wow!
With like 20 calories a serving, and a serving is pretty big, and it's so good.
Oh, I love it. I just love the crunch.
Me too. Oh, guess who else likes
salty it? And
the puppy.
No.
Yes. Oh my gosh, she loves it, especially the sea salt one.
Oh wow, that's like sea salt and seaweed. LaLa, what turned you on this? What turned you on to seaweed?
My sister was stationed in Korea for over a year. When she came back, She loved it. She when she came back, she introduced me to Korean food, and that is absolutely my favorite food outside of soul food, of course.
Do you get much soul food in Portugal?
No,
Wow.
except my own. Except my own.
And you gotta struggle to make that because you can't find everything that you need.
No.
Could you imagine if a soul food joint opened up in your neck of the woods, how much money they'd make?
Actually kind of crossed my mind. So not only that, but also entertainment. So
yeah, let me know. I got some recipes, girl.
Yeah, I'm ready. Because I'm gonna tell you, Mr. Key can lay down some mac and cheese.
Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Now, so does anyone have a story of a week? I have an inspiring story of the week, if you want to hear.
Sure.
I went to an event with a whole bunch of different people, different business people. There were about 30, 35 people in the room. One of the people there was the head of DEI for one of the major banks in Canada.
Really?
It was various people, business owners, etc. And two ladies got there to share their business startup. And one of the ladies has experience working with startups and entrepreneurs. Other lady, she's probably about in her late 20s now. A few years ago, actually spent time incarcerated. And while she was incarcerated, she got to really love popcorn. Okay. Oh, here we go. Lala's going. So
I love popcorn.
Okay.
You said a magic word. You said a magic word.
What did this lady do when she got out of prison? She started her own popcorn business.
Are you serious?
Now, check this out. So we're in the audience and she's sharing her story about how she got incarcerated. She basically got set up to deliver drugs on coming back from a trip. And it was really amazing. Found out, so she's doing her story. And then the lady beside me says, "Hey, I tried your popcorn last night at the hockey game." So she's been running this business for 3 or 4 years, doing incredible numbers. And she calls her brand Comeback Foods.
I love it. Oh, that's amazing. I love stories like that.
Yeah. And like she was sharing her story up there and just really raw. And she was nervous sharing it, but it added to the impact of her sharing. It was really, and what I'll do is I'll send you via our private Discord the link, and you can share read some of her story. It was so inspiring. Now these two ladies got together, and the lady I'd met first, the other lady who's not incarcerated, I met her about 3 or 4 months ago at the same event. So we're looking to launch this thing to help. So they've launched a startup to help formerly incarcerated individuals start their own entrepreneur business.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And 3 months ago, she was telling now I saw both these ladies together. They got funded $600,000.
Oh, this is a beautiful story.
Yeah, nice.
They're just going like crazy. But the nice thing is that this environment that I was in there, they reached out to some of the people because we got this money. We didn't know how to put it in a bank. So there were people in the room that actually helped them get all the financial set up also. And the nice thing about this event, frequency event promotions here. So I'm going to shut up, but no, I'll say it anyways.
I love her slogan. It's popcorn so good it's criminal.
There you go.
I love it.
There you go. It was a really great event. And every time I go to this event, it just meet more and more fantastic people. There was actually a lady there who I met through the gentleman who runs it, who is from the West. She came in. We went to lunch earlier this week at a Jamaican restaurant. She had a great time, and she's a media buyer. So what she does, she gets you media coverage, but she doesn't charge you until she gets the coverage.
Oh, wow.
So you don't put the money up front. She does the work. And when she gets you the coverage, that's when she gives you an invoice.
Wow.
And so there's an idea that I'm working on right now that will maybe the first of its kind in Canada. She said, "I love your idea. Let's collaborate. What can I do to help you, etc." Everyone comes in this environment wanting to help. They're not looking to get there. And they've developed, Frequency may want to know is they developed their own app. So
Nice.
online, you see people who are attending the meeting,
Mhm.
and you can reach out to them. And they also have another part of the app that says, what do you need help with? And you put it in the app.
I love it. That is great networking.
It is. It's really
And what's it called again?
We'll talk about it offline.
Okay.
All right. But it is a global organization, though.
That's what I needed to hear.
Yeah,
Thank
it's a
you.
global operation, so we can take it offline.
Okay.
And but there's some amazing stuff there. And there was one lady there who had about half the people in the room were there because of her. She is a main big time connector. Big time. Big time. Jen Meyer says, doing well. Our weather has been 70s, then 40, and rain and wind all in 1 week. I know
ours has been crazy like that too.
Weather has just been out of bounds this week. Saying it's been 70, 40, rain, wind all in 1 week. Yeah, well, that's weather of the Northeast.
Yeah.
That's weather of the Northeast. All right. We are going to take a break. And it has been another calm week in America politically.
Yeah, we don't really have much to talk about.
So that's why I wanted to go into the break with an inspirational story, because it may not be a lot of inspiration going forward.
There is none.
They will be back in 30 seconds, and we'll go right in. So we'll be back in 30 seconds. Aisha K. Staggers and Laura LaLa here in the house. What is up?
The thing that Democrats should take away from the loss isn't what Harris did wrong so much, so as what they did wrong.
And I'm going to tell you right now, we are the ones who are going to have to save our own selves. Don't be looking for some white man to come and save you.
The people who created the phrase "stay woke" are like, woke ideology. We would have never put those together. And then what is that ideology? Oh, you mean differences? Oh, you mean people who aren't like you?
All right. Great promo by someone that LaLa knows, that did some work for LaLa, and he's actually doing some more work for LaLa as we speak. And he put together that promo, so really big. I'm gonna shout, thank you, George, big time.
Thank you, George. He does an excellent job.
Does some good stuff. He's leaving us in a few weeks. I'm gonna be sad to see him go, but he's one of those people that, as the monetization becomes more and more reality, say, George, we need you back. We need you back, 100%. All right, Girlfriends Chat with Aisha LaLa and Jill Jones at Patreon. And actually, I got to speak with you ladies offline, because I think there's another platform that I'm going to suggest you put that on. We'll talk about that after.
Hey, we like it.
Yes. And then Primetime Saturday Show Store with products. Then join our Discord group. And I'm putting in a lot of stuff lately in that. I'm just like, I do my Discord bombs where I put about 5 or 6 things in at the same time.
Yeah, I do. And Aisha and I have both picked up as well.
Yep, absolutely. And subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. Hit the notification button. Yes, we finally passed 1,730 subscribers. Thank you so much. If you haven't, please, please, please subscribe and then hit the notification button. And I'm also encouraging, you know what? Actually, both you, I know LaLa, you're increasing your frequency of posting on YouTube. We got to promote your YouTube channel on here too. So next time we broadcast, we're going to encourage you to subscribe. And then Aisha K, I don't know if she'll do the YouTube stuff, but
I'm going to start putting our Girlfriends Chats on my YouTube channel.
And okay, and there's another place I'm going to suggest offline that you do it also. Also follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Also, if you want to advertise their business product or service on any of the platforms, email me dr.vibe at the vibe.show.com. And we cannot forget Indie Soup TV, run by our good friend Dr. Tachi. 9 months, 25,000 YouTube subscribers. Her channel then is in the top 4% globally on the YouTube platform. Globally.
That's amazing.
In 9 months. All right. Do we have anyone else jumping in? Okay. Everyone's going here. We're caught up to base. All right. First conversation piece. And here we go.
Okay.
Okay. 47 orders a plan to dismantle the education department while keeping some core functions. Who's in first?
Go, Aisha.
I'm ready to start because I worked in higher education, and everyone in my family works in education. My mom worked in education, and both of my sisters. One's a professor, and one deals with literacy. Now, let me tell you this. The idea, I'm not even sure where to start. First of all, that sentence is disingenuous about them dismantling the Department of Education while keeping core functions. That is virtually impossible. Not virtually, it's literally impossible to do, because keep saying that you're going to keep core functions is disingenuous when the rest of the government that you're going to try and send these different things off to is already going to be overburdened by the loss of workers. Remember, Elon Musk is firing people indiscriminately. So all of the departments in the federal government are already overburdened with work because they've lost employees. So you're supposed to add onto their workload with work that they're not even qualified to do.
No.
Who's qualified to do these things? The work at the Department of Education is so nuanced. So, for example, Dr. Vibe, if you'll put up that graphic that I gave you, the Department of Education handles a lot of core functions that people don't consider and that people can't even imagine or forget about. And I'll actually drop this in the Discord as well so that people can see it. It's also on my Instagram account, this graphic, but this particular graphic shows the different things that the Department of Education does for our young people and through K and for K through 12 education. And since I have it, I'll read it to you. The first thing is the school lunch program. Now, yes, that comes through the USDA, but it is the U.S. Department of Education that determines the qualifications of schools to be classified as Title I and what the requirements are for those things. For example, we have schools in the city I live in. All the schools are considered Title I and get get the free lunch program, regardless if the students can afford it or not. We've done that to take away the stigma that goes with that program. So that works that way. But the Title I designation comes from the Department of Education, not USDA, even though USDA provides the food source for it. They take care of the special education program.
Yes.
They also give aid to schools that are on federal land. So we're talking about those land grant institutions. A lot of HBCUs are land grant institutions, the big ones that you know of, especially the ones that have state university in it. Like South Carolina State University is an HBCU that is a land grant institution. Okay. For North Carolina State University, same thing. They cover student debt relief programs. So we're talking about the consolidation programs for student loans, those kinds of things. They're talking about handing off the federal student loan program to small business. First of all, they can't handle that. But what they will end up doing is outsourcing the student loan program to private banks, private businesses, which means fewer students will qualify. They will institute a credit requirement, which is not required for the federal student loan program. They will also institute an income requirement, which is not required for the federal student loan program. And then your loan payments are going to be, there will not be an interest cap, and your loan payments will already loan payments are high. But then we're going to go back to what happened to Gen X student loan borrowers, which no one talks about. We talk about all the time how much millennials have taken out and this and that. But Gen X people, my generation, got caught up in when Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Sallie Mae, and all those people started selling our loans to different companies, and that were not federally secured. Those companies started selling loans. And I know that I was paying on my student loans, and my student loans getting sold every 10 to 12 months to someone else and having to start all over again. So they stopped that practice, but you're going to see that happen again. And then they fund low income schools. So we're talking about schools in areas that don't have a lot of local income tax revenue to fund. They don't have a state appropriation per pupil to fund their education. So the federal government comes in and helps with that. And guess what? That's not going to be there because again, these are funding things. So where do you put that? Pell Grants. Where are you going to put that? Someone has to oversee those grants. The school safety programs. We're talking about, remember, school safety. We're talking about gun violence initiatives. We're talking about those kinds of things, those programs. We're talking about vocational training and services, apprenticeships. Those programs are going to go for kids who wouldn't go to college, but do get some kind of training for the workforce, right? We're talking about in when it goes to what's also not on this graphic is we're also talking about the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Education. Every state has one, but the federal government also has one too. And that will be dismantled. And remember, that is the last marker of our federal education that really keeps things in check with regard to making sure that we're compliant with Brown. Now here's the other part. That's going to
no, that'll be a no.
It's going to happen. We're going to talk about this later, but it does coincide with this dismantling of the Department of Education. Remember, Jimmy Carter started this Department of Education, so it is about 50 years old. But let's also remember, Trump signed an executive order allowing for the federal government to do contracts with places with segregated facilities. What does that mean? Now, remember, what was the case that dismantled segregation in public facilities? It was not the 1964 civil rights case. It was Brown versus Board of Education. That it was an education case that dismantled this. So here we have a runaround to try and go back. Now, these people also want to dismantle this because they're going back to, what did we say? What did I say about, I think 10 months ago, LaLa, was it? That they want to turn all the schools into private schools?
Exactly.
I did say that. Yes,
you did.
And here we are, because the goal is to turn all schools into private schools. And I even went further because I said that we have states have compulsory attendance laws where if your kid does not go to school, the parents go to jail, right? And you have a large number of not just poor white parents, but parents of color who will not be able to afford private school, but who will also be forced to go to prison for violating compulsory attendance laws because there's no public schools for their kids to go to because public schools.
What did we say about the prisons? What did we say about the prisons?
And at the same time,
and for profit.
Right. At the same time, these oligarchs are investing in private prisons. The school to prison pipeline, we've been talking about it. It's been real, but guess what? They're now cutting out the school part. It's going to be crib to prison.
All right. Let me just stop a few things because I want LaLa to add on to this. So a few things we're going to put up our interactive right now and just show and also read some of it. But I'm going to do here. Here we go. So some of the stuff going on the interactive. Regina says, guess we're going back to the days where special ed were hidden at home. SMH, I remember those days. Also, Project LaLa said Project 2025 being put into place just as they planned. And also Regina says, how does Department of Ed get eliminated without 67 votes from the Senate?
Because what they do is they get rid of the filibuster. They need 2/3 votes. So it's 60 votes of 100. And so they get rid of the filibuster because that needing that number of votes from the Senate is the filibuster. They can get rid of the filibuster, if I'm not mistaken, by just changing the rule itself. The Senate
Okay.
can do that. And since they are in the majority, they can do it. Here it is. There are 3 ways to get rid of the filibuster. The Senate has a number of options: by curtailing the use of the filibuster, by setting a new precedent, changing the rule itself, or placing restrictions on its use, and all of which are in the control of the majority party. So they can get rid of that filibuster and then make it a simple majority vote. It will pass in the House because they have the votes. It'll pass in the Senate by simple majority vote because they have the votes.
LaLa.
Because they have the votes. This is my problem. Listen, Aisha has covered this very well, but here's my point. I mean, we saw this coming. I think what hurts Aisha and I the most is we told you all of this way before we even got into the Kamala Harris even being running for president at the time. We researched Project 2025 like it was the top-notch master's degree homework, and we informed you of everything. You have people still saying that this is not a part of Project 2025 when it's so very clear this was exactly the blueprint. They are pulling the strings, and the problem is we are so far deep into this administration that there isn't anyone who could even come and correct, even if something should happen to the top administration. So if you're looking for, okay, all these people hollering about impeachment, you're not looking at the whole picture. This is in place, and this is going to take generations, and it won't happen in our lifetime. From what this man has done in less than 2 months in the White House, to our education, to our children, to those in need, to those who are, minority, it's all been lined up, and it's going to take generations to even get back to where we were and undo this. Now, I will say this because it's not being reported a lot. Almost every executive order that he has done, there has been lawsuits, and some have won. A lot have won, but you're not going to hear that in the news. You need to go search out that information on your own. There are going to be a lot of lawsuits about this Department of Education, and we're just going to have to see how it plans out. But here's my thing. If you get to the upper level Supreme Court, they also have been sold out and compromised. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they respond, because I actually feel like what Roberts and Amy, those two are now starting to be like, no, you can't do that. But then we still have tap dancing Clarence Thomas. So
Yeah.
You're being kind. I've heard other people call him worse.
well, I'm trying to be nice, but my mouth has not been very nice lately.
But at 47 saying a judge needs to be impeached, and Roberts pushed back on that.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what I'm finally like, no.
I just want to get to comments quickly. I know you want to add some more. Regina says, right, zero efficiency happening with these cuts. She also says, LaLa got that Sade vibe going on. Enlightened beings, they had all of this planned, all of it. And Enlightened beings also says it will take generations for all this back in order. We will never see it in our lifetime. And also, Regina has a question. What about the FASA?
The FAFSA. It's actually, the F and the S are the other way around. It's actually the FAFSA. That's the form that you fill out to get aid for college. What's going to happen with a lot of those? Right, a lot of those students are waiting, to hear back on their aid. I know my daughter is. So, so we're going to see what happens there. But I know this. Trump said that he wants to do cuts with a scalpel and not a jackhammer. Well, you know what? The first thing you're going to do before you do things with a scalpel, before a doctor touches a scalpel, what does a doctor say? First, do no harm.
Exactly.
First, do no harm. If you're going to, you know what? The first thing you should do before you even pick up a scalpel is commit to doing no harm. Everything that he's doing, every action is harming someone. And to me, that is, like you said, that is the point. He's like, oh, no, I'm not doing retribution. And then he goes after the very people that, he thinks wronged him. And this is what I think. People are wondering, well, what can Democrats do? What can Democrats do? Here's the thing. There's nothing that Democrats can do in this minute. The thing that Democrats need to be doing in this minute is planning for the things that they need to do the moment this man, his administration are out of power and they can take back some power. They need to start building up a coalition and make the numbers work for them for 2028. And the reason I say that is because they are going to need to be in the position that he and Republicans are in right now. Because the first thing that they need to do is get rid of that damn filibuster. That's the first thing. Then the second thing that they need to do is they need to take the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and make those amendments. Put them in the Constitution. Because guess what? Once they are there, they become more difficult to repeal and erase and strip.
But we've been calling on them for years and generations to do that.
I know we have been calling on them for years, but here is the thing. I think right now, more than anything, we do this with Democrats by starting to talk about third party. Not any of these existing third party. We start talking about working families party, a third party with an infrastructure, okay? A third party with capital, a third party with a plan, a third party that has won elections even though they've supported Democrats. And see, the thing of it is that is something that will scare the Democratic Party, because guess what? They do endorse Democratic candidates. And if more regular people start picking working family party candidates, that's going to be enough for Democrats to be scared, because Republicans won't be scared by that, because they know none of their people will vote for them, but Democrats will be scared for it. And then the Working Families Party, now is a perfect time to start going out and talking to those veterans and those people who are going to get kicked off Social Security, who might be on the right. But as far as Democrats are concerned, the Working Families Party is our party. They are literally working for the people who are in this moment right now, because Democrats, I'm sorry, everybody's praising AOC, and I love AOC right now, but everybody's praising AOC and Bernie Sanders on these talks and things that they're having. But where was this in September is what I'm asking, because Democrats are not where were these town halls that Democrats feel compelled to be doing because Republicans aren't doing them now? Where were these between August and November? Because they would have helped. It would have helped.
Here's another thing.
Yeah,
they're losing support so quickly. I will tell you right now, they have lost mine. The only people that I even pay attention to anymore is AOC and Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah.
Because I see the fire in their bellies, and I also see that they're sincere about this fire in their bellies. They are out of touch. And this week I saw a video that I shared with other people as well, that there are many other people feeling exactly the same way that we do. They came out strong. They put together this thing that said, and the first thing he said, not another dime. You get not another dime from me. And then there was another lady who said, for 10 years, I have worked and volunteered for the Democratic Party, no more. These are the people they need to really start listening to, because you know what? They should be very afraid.
Yeah.
The Democratic, they may lose every last one of us. And like Aisha said, we may be looking for another party.
Yep. And let me tell you something. I can explain my feelings about what we need to do with Chuck Schumer in 3 Destiny's Child songs. And I put this on my Blue Sky. The first is no, 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 either part. Because first he was telling us no, 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 when it was really yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay? He did that to us. Then the second is bills, bills, bills. If you're going to vote for this continuing resolution, can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? Can you pay my automobiles? If you do, maybe we can chill. And then the third is get on the bus. I ain't got no time for talking all this junk. Get on the bus and get out.
All right.
I'm at the point now, if you're not serving us, you have to go. And that means Pelosi. That means Hakeem. That means all of them. I ain't got no.
I got 3 Biggie songs for him too.
All right.
The first one is kicking the door. That's what I'll start with. The other ones are not appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Enlightening Being says Democrats truly lost support, and they have need to acknowledge that and get back on track. They are so out of touch and have been too wimpy. All right,
Yes.
let's go to our next
Can we say that
conversation.
again, enlightened beings? They are too wimpy and out of touch. Why are we running? Why are we playing 1990s games with these people? It's like we already know the ending.
Yeah.
We've been here before. It's like the Democrats picked up a crossword puzzle where all the puzzle is filled out, and they just decide, oh, we're just going to erase some of these letters and just go fill them in again. No, buy a new book.
They have underestimated the people.
Yes, they have. And the new whoever's head of the DNC right now, the fact that I do not know your name and you're new and you've been there for almost 2 months is a fucking problem.
It's a serious problem.
It's a problem.
All right. We are going to move on to another conversation topic. Just give me a moment here. All right. We've got
a conversation.
And you guys wanted to cut down on time today. Yeah, right. 47 administration quietly drops ban on segregated facility. When I saw this, okay.
No.
So,
it was quietly in the fact that nobody is like raising a roof on this.
Hold on. Before we go any further, I'm going to ask to engage the audience too on this. So if you're watching live on the YouTube channel, what I'd like you to do is, what are your thoughts on this one? And it's a one word. What's the first word that comes to you when it comes to the 47 administration dropping the ban on segregated facilities in federal college? It's up here. Before I finish, someone's already put it in there. But ladies, what are your thoughts? And I'll put up the one word cloud in just a second.
I put mine up there already.
Okay. Yeah, I know you did. All right.
It's demonic.
Jim Crow.
Demonic.
What's that all about? Oh, and also Regina says Citizens United needs to go to the immunity decision, needs to be tossed out too. What do Aisha LaLa think about SCOTUS overturning the immunity? We'll get to that. Mm-hmm. All right. So Regina, okay. So what are people thinking? What do you ladies think about segregated facilities?
Again, this is in Project 2025. They don't specifically say it, but it is what they want. And here's the thing. It's not just the fact that when the federal government does something like that, they set a precedent that the states will then do this. And the first states I promise you, the first 3 states we're going to see do this are going to be Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. Then South Carolina will follow, as will Georgia,
Oklahoma,
and
Alabama.
Yep. Yeah, they're all of them are, and then Louisiana too. North Carolina, thankfully, has a Democratic governor, so they won't fall in line with that, and neither will Kentucky. They're lucky. Tennessee will, and they'll be flagrant about it. You're on mute, Lala. Yeah, you're muted. I can't hear you. I can't hear either one of you, actually.
I can't hear you, Lala.
Now I can hear you, Dr. Rod.
I was on mute. You may need to now we can hear you. That's a great way to come back to the conversation, by the way.
What did you say, Dr. Rod?
That was a great way to come back to the conversation.
Look, maybe they're listening to us on SpaceX.
I don't know what's going on in Kentucky, but there was a massive disagreement with a very peaceful Democratic gentleman who I admire very much. So he's still very powerful in Kentucky, because they are removing DEI from the colleges. And I think Kentucky's gonna fall in line, Aisha.
Now she's
Yeah,
on
he's
mute.
just muted.
Yeah, no, I think the colleges and universities will. I don't think the governor will, and that's the difference. I think.
Yeah,
But,
I
you know,
love Levin. Love him.
I think everyone else will. I mean, we already see capitulation by places like Columbia University. What's going to be at issue here is what's going to happen to HBCUs, because HBCUs are not segregated, but they're going to treat them like they are. But they're not going to treat
to get rid of them.
They're not going to treat these universities that aren't. But now let's be very clear. I want to clarify some of where this comes from too. Donald Trump wants to do a lot of business. Remember, Donald Trump's biggest thing is golf. And what have golf courses historically been in this country? Segregated.
That's right.
There are still some very popular, very big ones that are segregated. We found that out when Tiger Woods was supposed to play at some of them, right? So this is a thing. And you know what? Here's how I feel. You know what? The government should not do business with segregated facilities. But the fact that the government does is going to, I'm actually okay with that. You know why? Because that tells the rest of the world to not do business with us.
Exactly.
Because that's what's going to happen. That's the blowback. I don't think he's prepared for that. I don't think he's prepared for a country like, say, some European country, Germany or something, saying, yeah, we're not going to do business with you because you allow, Germany especially, you allow segregated facilities. We're not going there because we know where this goes. We're not doing business with the US anymore. Sorry.
And they're lining up to do that. The other countries are lining up to do that. They're being diplomatic, but what you're not really hearing is what they're agreeing to behind closed doors, because they're not really ready to announce this yet. You better bet and know. Just like Aisha and I did a full story on 2025, could do a full story on what you guys are not hearing. And I'm telling you right now, the rest of the world is not okay with this. They are aligning themselves with those who think the same way, and this is not a part of what they think. The ones who do will be aligning with Russia and China and those of that nature. Yeah. However, you're going to see that there is going to be a split between all of these other countries that are lining up, and America is not going to be on the side with most of EU.
Yeah. I'm going south a week from Monday. And I do not, something in my gut doesn't, I know I have to, I'm just fearful of going to the South now that this happened. This has happened since I decided I was going. So that just changes that, because remember, South Carolina was the first state to secede from the Union, and that's where I'm going. They are a state that still flies a Confederate flag on State House grounds.
Yes, they do.
So, this is,
they will die on that cross.
Oh yeah. The day I moved to South Carolina in 2000 was the day that they took it from the State House and moved it to the grounds where it was more visible. They took it down because of what happened, but guess what? Those people want to put it back up the moment that they feel that they can. It's been it'll be 10 years this year. They'll get it back up. I promise you.
Like segregated facilities.
Yeah.
Segregated. I'm just going, wow, and I'm just going to read a story here. The 47 Administration has rolled back a key clause in the federal government contracts that explicitly prohibited contractors from having segregated facilities such as restrooms, restaurants, and drinking fountains. A February memo from the General Services Administration, first reported by NPR, stated that several provisions in the Federal Acquisition Regulation, a document that sets uniform guidelines for government acquisitions, quote, are not consistent with the direction of the president, unquote. Though the memo emphasized that all contractors, whether or not they work for the government, are, quote, still covered by the existing United States laws, on civil rights / non-discrimination, unquote. It instructed agencies not to include a number of FAR provisions and clauses in future solicitations and contracts. The list includes title prohibition of segregated facilities, equal opportunity, and affirmative action compliance. The memo said that these clauses were being removed in compliance with the President 47's executive orders against diversity, equity, inclusion policies, and general ideology. Done.
Here's the good thing. We know this. We're going to have to get through this. It's going to be this is going to go on for 4 years. What we do know is, what we can tell is this: it's not going to go on beyond 4 years. And the reason I say that is because there's not one person in his administration that's going to be able, unless they do something to stop the next election.
Well, hey, did you see?
I know that's on the table. I'm not. I know that's
no. But did you see Steve Bannon this week?
Yeah, I know. I saw
Okay,
it.
all right.
I know that's on the table. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, if things operate the way that they're supposed to operate, I honestly do not think that a Republican will win the next time. And the reason I say that is because all of the Republicans that would be in line to run are okay with this stuff, and they've voiced their being okay with it. So, for example, anyone who would have had a chance, for example, Marco Rubio, Ron DeSantis, no. Nikki Haley, absolutely not, because she what did she do? She has no backbone. JD Vance, hell no. Elon Musk can't run unless they change that, which they probably will. I'm not so sure that they won't try and change that. But the bottom line is that the high profile people in the Republican Party who would run in a primary aren't people who have done anything to stand apart from this stuff that people don't like on their side. And the bottom line, and yes, and while yes, I think we might have to do this longer 4 years. And yes, to your point, Dr. Vibe, I do get the thing about them trying to introduce, they've already tried to introduce the bills and all that stuff for him to run longer. What I see and what I know, and from what I hear, though they have no backbone in public, and they have no backbone apparently in private, people do have aspirations.
All right.
And I think those aspirations, a lot of those people see that their aspirations cannot come to fruition as long as he's in the way. I think that's the best way of putting it. He's in a lot of people's way right now. Let me just say that.
Lala, anything you're wanting to add?
I kind of agree with Aisha, but I also disagree in the fact that I don't trust them.
No.
I don't trust them at all. They're going to, while they have this power, they are going to use it to their full ability because all the stars lined up.
Yeah.
And I don't see, unless the people rise, because there's so many now Republicans who are now like speaking out because now they figured out they're not a them, they're an us, that we're not known, that we don't see in the mainstream media. And unless there is a complete revolt, as long as they're in power, they're going to try to keep that power as long as they can. So I am struggling with the fact of the language of only 4 more years of this. I don't believe that. I believe they're going to try to do their best to keep him in there. And even if he's not there, they're going to still keep the key people in place in order for Project 2025 to continue to finish its agenda. I think it's going to be many generations after us before we see any kind of change in a good direction.
And the only reason I disagree with that is because of how they did things. Remember, the way everybody that they did things with was appointed by the president, which means the next president that comes in, that's why I'm saying 4 years, because the next president comes in can reappoint all those people. So get rid of all those people. But also too, this is the thing that I actually am kind of glad he's doing all this by executive order. Because what were we saying to you all before last year when everyone was like, well, Biden should do this by executive order. Biden should do this by executive order. We kept telling you, if he does it by executive order, the next president can come in and undo it. What did Trump do? His first 3 days was undo by executive order everything that Joe Biden did by executive order.
Which I think is such a waste of time.
Right. And everything that Donald Trump is doing, remember, everything he's doing is by executive order. He's not doing anything through the legislature, which means it has no binding effect. So this thing we're talking about right here, about the ban, dropping the ban on segregated facilities in federal contracts, it can easily be undone because it's just an executive order.
Okay.
So that's what I mean.
Enlightened Being said, not sure, Aisha. I think we're going to deal with this longer than 4 years. Also says, she said, they say, look at the town halls. GOP are being chased with pitchforks. And then also, she says, didn't Lisa Murkowski say fellow Republicans were fearful of being polarized? But how do you get reelected if you avoid town halls?
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what, these Republicans they worse than the Democrats showing up at these town halls. Well, y'all thought it was gonna be the Democrats coming to complain. No, baby.
But here's the one thing. Even though this is a new Republican Party in terms of the voters, the politicians aren't different. They're still the same. And these politicians are returning to the Newt Gingrich style of governing. And if you don't remember that, you need to go and look at what Newt Gingrich did, because Newt Gingrich basically blew, this idea that we think about the 90s of being this holy grail. Newt Gingrich was a son of a bitch. He really was. Newt Gingrich was the preliminary to where we are now. People didn't pay attention to him or Pat Buchanan. Those men, this white supremacy that we have integrated thoroughly into the presidency, they started it in the House and the Senate. They trying to reintegrate it back in, bringing that old Dixiecrat style back in. There was those two. They did this, and here we are now. And honestly, everything that Steve Bannon says, he's literally just saying. Steve Bannon literally opened up the book of Newt, and is reading from it.
The book
that is all he's doing. No, he said it. He said he's going back to Newt Gingrich style.
All right.
He's opening up the book of Newt.
Let me just more comments here. Enlightened Being says, Regina, but the leaders of Project 2025 wanted JD as a puppet. Regina says, Republicans, Dr. Vibe, humanoids. And she also says, right, 2025 wants their puppet, but he's a dark hole when it comes to charisma and popular appeal.
And that's the thing. The moment that JD Vance got booed, he was no longer their puppet. That was it.
Oh man, this is the moment that he did haunting him in his sleep.
Yep.
That is haunting him.
It is. And the moment that he did not know how to stand up to Elon Musk and be like, no, I'm the vice president, they're done with him. They don't want him anymore. No, they thought he was a hawk. They thought he had a backbone because he was a hawk in the media because he wanted the job. But then he got the job. And he proved to be the very punk that we all thought he was.
Not thought, we knew.
Like, look, the only reason, like somebody said in the
meme. You're so out of order,
reason,
LaLa.
Look, like somebody said in the meme, the only reason he had to say something.
Out of order.
Had to say something.
So Kentucky out of order.
No, he had to say something during the Zelensky thing. He had to.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he's gonna go crazy on the couch.
He hasn't done anything.
No.
Like,
listen. I have to be devil's advocate here because listen, anytime a vice president is a vice president, what do you hear? It doesn't matter if it's a Democrat or if it's a Republican.
Right.
What do they do? What do they do? Well, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be laying low because if anything should happen to the president, they're the ones. Yeah. This is why you rarely see them in rooms together. We understand that. But the truth of the matter is he has no backbone. And if you ask me, I'd rather have Pence back than have this fool up in there because he just, I mean, did y'all see him sitting there? He was like, why didn't you see? You didn't thank the president. And that's how he sat there like he was 2 years old.
Because I'm really having emotions for this couch right now. So I got to say something.
Off the couch.
That's beyond that too. But you know what though? Beyond that too, this tells you the precarious situation he's in and how things were. Elon Musk was about to have a briefing on our war plans with China. Our backup plans that we keep with China, with Hegseth yesterday, and did not tell Trump that he planned that. Trump found out because the media asked him about. The media found out. The media asked him about it, and Trump put a stop to that. Trump didn't like that. Trump didn't.
Baby, it's just a matter of time before those two fall apart.
We've been saying it. I'm like, wait a second. He's gonna get too big for his britches. But see, that right there. That he did right there proves that JD Vance is in trouble. Because here's the thing: if anybody needs to be knowing that information, it's the vice president.
Exactly.
All right.
What is Regina, some unelected low-level bureaucrat supposed to know this information for?
All right. Regina asks, 47 is a cult. Does the cult continue without its leader? Odds are the dude will croak and JD is not popular.
Agreed.
And then she also says, Usha Vance, one day we need to discuss her.
Why? She done fell into the bullshit. No. She done fell into
that woman bullshit. What is that woman? A riddle wrapped in an enigma, something in a conundrum. That's what that woman is.
Maybe she's lost.
Okay. All right. Let's continue on.
That was something that I heard about. We will need to talk about that. We'll talk about it.
Regina said, and the twins being murdered by a white supremacist. We will talk about that. We will get that. Not today.
Not today. But we'll have to talk about that because I didn't
take that today. I don't think.
Oh no, not today. Don't worry. Don't worry. Won't get at it today. Regina goes, LOL. Okay. Next up, travelers detained at United States borders over anti-president content. OMG.
Yes.
That's a violation. Just so you know, that's a violation because guess what? If you're a traveler and you're a citizen or you're a visitor in this country, our laws apply to you. Same way as when we go there, your laws apply to us as visitors.
That was under the old world. This is under the new world.
True.
That no longer applies. If your ass is coming to the United States, be ready to have your phone taken, be ready to get denied immediately because they do not want anyone that they don't want in our country to come in. So you done lost your plane ticket. Forget about coming to see your family because people who have true and real visas that have been approved and everything have now been detained, that have also been arrested, and they will demand that you open your phone. Let me tell you some things, okay? It's not just people with visas. American citizens, Americans, not visas. I didn't say that. No, I said people who was born in America are now being subjected to the exact same thing as people with visas or any kind of work study are being treated as. If you have anything on your phone that talks about you being anti-Trump or you are upset with our government, they are going to tell you to open your phone. Guess what? You are not obligated to open your phone. Let me tell you the first thing that you're going to do. You're going to remove any Face ID or thumbprints on your phones. You will only have passcodes. You are not required by law to give them the passcodes to see your stuff. Number two, you're going to make sure that you get rid of all of your social media on your phone if you're traveling. If not, then you're going to get a burner phone and you're only going to be able to call people when you get to your destination. Be prepared for them to hold you back and give you any reason why you cannot enter the United States of America. Because first of all, they're getting rid of birthright. So that means pretty much every damn body, including American citizens, if they don't want you there. However, if you have $5 million and you're coming from South Africa, you're more than welcome to come into our country. Y'all, we are under beyond triple that red. They don't want you there. They're not going to let you in there. They think that you're going to come and stay. And this is fitting into their agenda to say that we don't have immigrants coming and taking over our country. So even if you have a legitimate reason, they will detain you, they will arrest you, and you will have to fight. Now be prepared to not to lose that fight at the airport, because they do have true authority over that, even though it's wrong, but be prepared to lawyer up.
Yep. And they're not just detaining people and sending them back home. They're detaining people and sending them to Louisiana.
What's in Louisiana, Aisha?
Privatized state prison. Yeah. And then there's, and the bad part of it is that they're arresting people and detaining them without charges, which means that they can hold them indefinitely. They're also looking, and let's be very clear, there are private prisons in Louisiana, and the treatment of these people in these prisons is starting to leak out. It's looking like Abu Ghraib. Remember the torture, the waterboarding and things? They're doing those things there. They're putting the people with the illest of intent, the most vitriolic, evil people who consider themselves law enforcement. Yeah. And so, and remember, they're going to open up that, Abu Ghraib again. They're looking at doing that to hold people that they want to detain or deport. And let's be very clear. And I think I said this last week, but we can't reiterate this enough. He paid El Salvador $6 million to take deportees, not El Salvadorian deportees, any
American citizens.
A lot of them American citizens. Yes.
And
wait
a minute, let me say this. And had a movie theater production to show you that's exactly what's going to happen to you, and laughed at the judge who ordered them to turn around in midair and put it on there and said, too late.
And then when the judge said, wait a second, it looks to me like you violated the order because there's a movie about it. And he's like, no, that didn't happen.
Regina says, and now 47 claims he didn't sign the order.
Yes, he's saying that Marco Rubio did it.
Yeah, and then, but here we
go. Marco Rubio can't sign executive orders, sir.
And she also says, but the gate is wide open, as you just mentioned, for white Afrikaners to immigrate. Regina says Rubio is a birthright citizen. And I'm also going to just read from an article from The Guardian, which is a pretty good source. And there's this article, U.S. tourism industry faces drop-offs as immigration agenda deters travelers. I'm going to read a part from it. Yeah, let me just, there's something here. Yes, the decline has been most pronounced from neighboring Canada, which 47 has menaced with crippling tariffs and repeatedly threatened to annex outright. The number of Canadians returning by road from the U.S. fell 23% in February, year over year, while air traffic fell 13% a year earlier. A Canadian actor made headlines this week when she revealed U.S. authorities had handcuffed her and removed her out of a state out of state to a detention center where she spent several weeks in, quote, inhumane conditions despite not having been accused for a crime. Right? Neri Kara-Silliman, an entrepreneur expert from Oxford University, told Fast Company that travelers now viewed entering the U.S. as, quote, too difficult or unpredictable, unquote. Quote, even if you get a visa, you have the risk of being detained or to be denied, unquote. She said, adding that even as a valid U.S. visa holder, married to an American, she was hesitating to visit the country under the current climate.
Okay, let me speak to Black people directly. No, I'm dead serious, because I had this conversation with my nephew. If you are a Black person with a name like Aisha or any other Arabic or African name, first, middle, and or last, it's going to be a problem for you when you travel, especially if you travel out of the country or if you travel in the airport, period. And I know this because during 9/11, I can tell you how many times I have gotten pulled over to be extra checked because of my name. And so I encourage you to be, there are a great many of us born in the 70s whose parents really were doing a very good job at connecting us with our culture. And now we're going to be susceptible to this. There are many of us who, as parents, try to do that with our children, and they're going to be subjected to this. I was gravely concerned because my nephew's first, middle, and last name are all Arabic. And I told him I was very concerned and that he needed to be concerned because the thing is that they could look at him and be like, okay, that's a Black boy. But if his hair is like, if he grows it out long and it's an afro, but when he has his hair cut close like it is now, he could look like a very dark Indian. And with his name get pulled over and get, and no one's going to listen to him, especially if he's by himself. And so, yes, so you have to be very vigilant and just be careful.
So Regina says Florida is going to get screwed. No snowbirds. What year are we in? 2025. Like, no, and I said during our private Discord group, I'm saying this is what is happening for people who want to come visit America. What's going to happen with people in America?
Let me be very clear. We're living in 1985, even though aesthetically it's 2025. Does that make sense?
But like that's, and I shared it with Aisha LaLa in our group, of saying, what is it going to be the point now? You can't say anything against the government, or you're going to get arrested.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like I said,
that's the other thing. I'm glad that we're all off. I'm glad we're all off Twitter because, for example, that is where he's starting to go for people, and he's got Elon Musk's help to do it.
Enlightened Being says, I think my comments are getting throttled. They go, I was saying that so-called first prune face is an immigrant. Ouch.
Which one? There's so many prune faces in this government right now. I mean,
I think the current
have you looked at Linda McMahon? My God, that woman looks like she sucked a lemon twice.
Baby. And Carlos said,
anything she looks like she went down on the line. Oh my God.
And I will say it again. I don't need to see my first lady's naked body. I don't need to understand what her body looks like. Avant-garde my ass. That was porn, and we all know it.
Because guess what? If Michelle Obama had done that,
oh God, they just would have blew up.
As it is, they're really weird about wanting to see her genitalia anyway to see if she's not a man. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like you're gross about it, about her not showing it, and then you're gross about this woman showing it. They're so weird, just weird people. And see, I'm gonna say this: I will forever blame Joe Biden's campaign people because they came in and they tried to make Kamala Harris fit into Joe Biden's mold. Because honestly, making her and Tim Walz stop calling these people weird and be nicer and more diplomatic like Joe Biden would have been was bullshit. These people are weird.
They're beyond
weird. Oh my God. And they're getting
No,
weirder.
here's the thing. The real word is hypocritical, period.
Yeah.
That is the truth of the matter. They're very
Yeah.
hypocritical in the fact that they want to say all of these things about other people, but they cannot stand when they get called the same thing. And also that the people are doing exactly what they called out before. It's hypocritical and it's evil and it's actually really dangerous.
Okay. All right.
These people have the thinnest skin ever.
Regina says she means the Kit Kat Club escort.
Yeah, I love that.
Enlightened Being goes, I love that, Regina, LOL. And Regina says, it is 100% the truth, too. Regina, I want to put it out there. We need you to come on. Even if you don't put your camera on, we would love to have you on. So I'm just putting out that invitation in real time. All right, last conversation piece. 47 rescinds executive order after law firm agrees to provide $40 million in free services. This, oh my goodness. Like I'm just going to read the story quick, but when I read this, I go, really? 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 I just going, the more I know, the less I understand. So the story is 47 rescinded an executive order targeting a prominent Democratic-leaning law firm after it agreed to provide $40 million in free legal services to support his administration goals. The White House targeted the law firms whose lawyers had provided legal work that 47 disagrees with. Last week, he issued an order threatening to suspend active security clearances for attorneys at Paul Weiss and to terminate any federal contracts the firm has. But the president suddenly reversed course following a meeting between 47 and Brad Karp, the chair of the law firm Paul Weiss, Rifkind, Wharton, and Garrison, over the White House order. 47's order singled out the work of Mark Pomerantz, who previously worked at the firm and who oversaw an investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office into 47's finances before 47 became president. Pomerantz once likened the president to a mob boss. So, to avoid the consequences of 47's order, the White House said the firm has agreed to, quote, take on a wide range of pro bono matters that represent the full spectrum of political viewpoints of our society. The firm reportedly agreed to disavow the use of diversity, equity, inclusion considerations in its hiring and promotion decisions, and to dedicate an equivalent of $40 million in free legal services to support the 47 administration policies on issues including assistance for veterans and countering anti-Semitism.
Yeah. Lawyers are really upset about this.
Yes, I've seen a lot of them.
They're very upset about this. Just so you know, here are some of the corporations that they've represented. They've represented ExxonMobil, Citigroup. They represent Imagine Entertainment, which is Steven Spielberg. They represent Lucasfilm, which is George Lucas. And they represent Blackstone Group, which we actually talked about in our girlfriend's chat this week. They represent Goldman Sachs and Google and Amazon. Okay? Google and Amazon. But beyond that, let me tell you who some of their people are. Loretta Lynch, former AG of the United States. Okay? She when Eric what's his name left, she was the one who came in. And then Jay Johnson, who is also over security and the DNI and stuff for Barack Obama. They're Black people. They're Black people. And basically Trump wants them to defend white supremacists for free. I have a feeling that a lot of the attorneys that work for Paul Weiss, I have a feeling that they're going to see, a lot of the partners in law firms like that don't do the actual litigating. I have a feeling they're going to end up having to do a lot of litigating because I bet that their roster of lawyers is going to diminish significantly because a lot of this work will go against what they believe. They join this law firm because they support what they believe. And the other law firm, was it Huey, that he went after before this one? They didn't capitulate. They didn't fold. He pulled their stuff too. They did not fold. This one, they folded too easily. And this is the problem. No one has courage in this country. What is it about this old, decrepit, fat, slob, gross, disgusting man that scares people so much? Nothing about him is scary. I don't care that he has the full weight of the federal government behind him. He does not scare me. If he came and he threatened me, I would kick that man in his knee. He does not scare me. So why are these people that have much more wealth, much more access to things, afraid of him? What's he gonna do? Put you in jail? Let him. You're a law firm. Get yourselves out.
LaLa, what do you think about this one?
I just got blindsided with this before we came on, and now I'm going to have to go have me another drink before I have any other conversation. Everything about it is wrong, but here's the thing. Everything about this whole administration is wrong. So I have geared myself to do my very best to not be surprised at anything, because absolutely everything is free reign for them. And until the people rise, we are going to still continue to see this. Now, listen, even, I hate to say it, even Hitler, it took years before people saw exactly what he was doing and stood together and rose, and the whole world did. I'm praying, and I mean this with my sincere heart, I really do. I'm praying that we don't take that long, because we know better. But right now, my faith in humanity is very low. And so everything that he does, I have to brace myself for. I have limited myself seriously on social media, because it even leaks into my happy puppy reels. And so it's really hard to ignore it, other than to put the phone down and then allow yourself time to go and catch up. This is disgusting. This is exactly what he wanted, and he seems to get everything that he wants. At one time, I always thought that we would wake up and see that this madman was stopped, and he wasn't. So as long as he feels like he can get away with anything and everything, he will.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say on this is that good people ruled by fear don't do good things. They do nothing. And don't do nothing.
So Regina says she'll only show up if Dr. Tachi is on too. Just in regards to the law thing, they could send him their interns, and then Regina says, and charge them $100K an hour.
Well, remember, they can't charge an hour, because the thing was they have to do $40 million pro bono.
Yeah.
We work. It's a lot of work.
That's a sweet deal.
That's a sweet deal. It's a lot of money that they're at that point. I would have been like, hell no. Who are you?
We're not seeing anyone with backbones. People are cowering to him like he has some special mojo around him, like they will melt if they say no to him. But at some point, someone is going to have to say no, so that others will also get the backbone to add the vertebrae to that backbone to also say no.
And you see why the last two people that I mentioned, the last two corporations I mentioned that they represent, are the reason why they said yes. Google and Amazon.
Yep. All right. We are going to call it a conversation. If you're watching this live on YouTube right now, another quick interactive thing before we call it a day. So let me just pull it up right now. And let's see. Gonna get it here. Okay. So I'm going to put up. So I'm going to put it up. Now, for those watching live on YouTube, I would appreciate if you rate today's conversation on a scale from 1 to 5. 1 meaning, it was okay. 5 meaning it was out of bounds. Sorry. So I need to do, if you're watching live on YouTube, in the comment section, put either a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And someone's already put the 5 in, and there's your result. There we go in real time. Love it, love it, love it. Excellent, excellent, excellent. This is fantastic. All right. Let's do this. As always, want to thank ladies for giving their time. Most valuable thing we have in all our lives, today's conversation. But they'll give their contact information also. Up first, Sade.
I've been working on one of her songs this week too, so maybe I'm channeling that.
Okay,
Listen,
so you're up first.
I've got a lot of free things on my website. I hope that you do go there. I am really wanting you to understand that you do not have to stay stuck in the United States of America. I have a free quiz.
You don't?
No, I advise you to leave. But when you do that, be respectful of the country that you go to, because you now are the minority and the immigrant. And if you don't like how people are being treated in our country, don't go there taking your American there. But if you're not really sure and you're just thinking about it, I have a free quiz at www.laurakey.net that will help you analyze if you're ready to move now, if you need to be in the planning phase, or if you have a few years before you're ready to start. I also have a store, and I really would love for you to go and visit that. I do have some anti-Trump products there that are actually humorous, and hopefully you'll enjoy the t-shirts and things of that nature. But I also have some candles there that I'm going to ask you to please support our fight in the struggle for justice for my sisters, Azure and Valerie. We are still fighting for justice for their killer, for killing them as a drunk driver, and we need all the support that we can get. So when I say candles up, I would really love it if you all would light a candle with that. And other than that, you can find me on all social medias as Living the LaLa Life.
All right. Next up, Aisha K.
Yes, you can find me at AK Staggers on Instagram, Aisha K Staggers on medium.com, and akstaggers.bsky.social for Blue Sky. And at our next show, I will have my book, The Infallible Fannie Freeman, as an ebook for our viewers at a 50% discount.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Good to hear. Myself, how can you get a hold of me? There's a few ways. Website, VIBESHOW.com, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram at The Dr. Vibe Show, X/Twitter at drvibeshow.com, email dr.vibe@the dr.vibeshow.com, and also on Blue Sky at drvibe.bsky.social. Love it, love it, love it. We got any more last comments here? Oh, Lala says, thank you everyone so much for joining. We appreciate you so much. We appreciate you back, Sade. Maybe that's a new name we call her, Sade. We just say, Sade's in the house. That's a way to get increased viewership. All right, and just to show one last time, everyone, those who voted on the YouTube channel rated it a 5 out of 5. So we appreciate that 100% on the conversation. That is a beautiful thing. So let's do this. Let me just put myself back up here and say, live your life as a dream. If you can dream, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history, but try to do both and make it better. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith and walk good.
To understand how afraid I am of any member of the rodent family that's down to squirrels and chipmunks. Okay? I cannot stand all members of the rodent family. Rabbits, bunnies, no. What else is going on that day? I mean, is there something we're supposed to be doing?
Why are you going there? Why are you going there? You know, I'm going to ask you, it falls the same day as the inauguration of the new president.
The what? Excuse me? I'm sorry?
So in other words, Monday.
So onesies. Now, folks, don't ever think you're going to see us all on a show with onesies on. Don't do that.
You might see me. You might see me.
You'll see me and Lala, because we oftentimes wear ours.